Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Earthlings, everywhere on planet Earth today. I'm here in Gibraltar at the moment, as you can probably tell. Well, maybe not, because it's that side of the camera. I wanted to talk about titles and the importance of titles today. The proudest title that I have ever had in my life, and yes, I do have one, is Mrs Hesketh. I'll show you, because it's actually become, my fingers went all sausagey at one point, and I had to wear this, like, my ring's bigger, but as I've gotten skinnier, my fingers have, that's for sure, if only the rest would, it's getting a bit loose. But this here, that's not my original wedding ring. There's a long story behind the rings, but in the end, I bought a load of rings from Tibet on DHgate, and this was one of them, and it's a stainless steel. I don't know if you can, where's the camera? There it is. Don't know if you can see that. It's stainless steel, and it's got like a volcano lava type effect in it, which has gold plate in it, and that was $1. And it's my favourite one. I've got other ones. I actually bought that one for myself. That's like Marilyn Monroe channel set. And these ones are my mum's, because my mother had tiny weeny fingers. There's no way I could get them on the wedding finger. But this is the one that we landed on in the end. So you don't need a big fancy ring, but I was really proud of it. Now don't laugh, because it used to be a thing when I was a girl that girls at school would sort of say, oh, I wonder who I'll marry, and I'll be Mrs. this or Mrs. that. And some people even have long conversations about whether they have a double barrel name, and they practice, and then people actually practice a new signature and stuff like that. And I didn't do any of that. I didn't go for the double barrel stuff. But I was immensely proud the day that I got married, and I got the title Mrs. Hesketh. So in America and other countries that are republics that don't have titles, yes, you do. You do have titles. Even if you're not married, you have the title of your name of birth. I'm not talking about titles like doctor or when you have letters after your name, because that's something that you work hard towards and you qualify. I'm talking about a title which is given to you under a certain circumstance without having done any qualifications, a bit like Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sausages. I'm seeing more and more and more of the comparisons of Pamela Anderson, and I have watched Pamela's trailer, and I gotta say, it's a carbon copy. It's a total rip-off. So, now titles in the royal family and aristocracy, that's a different thing. But they only mean anything these days if the person who is bestowed the title appreciates it and embraces it. People like Julie Montague. Now, I've got to get this right. She is the Viscountess Hitchinbrook, I think. I'm not sure if I've got that right. But being an American herself, she's married into the British aristocracy, the Sandwich family. Fabulous. They've got Mapperton Hall, and I've never seen anyone embrace it so wholeheartedly as Julie. There are others, of course, as well, who are American, English, Scottish, all nationalities who've married in, and their titles become important because they embrace it. And as I've mentioned before, Harry and Meghan, they couldn't even be asked to visit Sussex more than once. And I'm not even sure where they went. I think they went to the Royal Pavilion, which is where the Prince Regent used to live. He had it was a farmhouse, and he had it all fixed up. It's us in Brighton say it's got onions on the roof because it's got those Indian type, it's gorgeous. I love the Royal Pavilion. But it is not a royal residence. It belongs to Brighton and Hove City Council. It belongs to the people of Brighton and Hove. So, I don't really know why they went there. I don't know why they do anything. I see Harry was giving it yap on some seat somewhere yesterday, but I didn't listen, I didn't read about it. I did leave a comment on the Daily Mail, which was just the acronym for shut the fuck up, Harry. Because that's what he needs to do. Oh, I've been watching the sailing boats today. Not that big thing there, big monster. I don't know who owns that. But I've been watching the sailing yachts out in the bay this morning, and I might have a go at sailing. I might get some dinghy sailing. Graham is still in the hospital. I was going to do an update on his channel, but I've got to go to his computer, and I haven't been able to because I'm here with him at the hospital. And so I'll do it here on this channel, because an awful lot of you had asked in the comments of the last one. Well, the long and the short of it is, he's comfortable. He's asleep all of the time now. If you can call it sleep, I would suggest he's in a transition phase at the moment. All the family are here. We're okay. There was some discussion. I've spoken to several doctors and nurses who have all pulled me aside and said, I can't believe your husband. What a guy he is. I mean, he is so matter of fact about the whole thing. This was before he sort of slipped into this deep sleep. You know, very practical, not once been emotional, not once cried. I wish I could say the same, because it's difficult not to. And I was talking to these people this morning from Cancer Relief. I was actually outside the hospital, and they just walked up to me and said, are you Mrs Hesketh? And that's when it struck me, the title. And I said, yes, I am. How did you know? And they said, I don't know. We just thought it was you, and we've just been in to see your husband. And they said he's comfortable, which he is. He is. I was talking to them about all sorts of stuff. Wonderful people. The doctors and nurses here, doctors and nurses are bloody marvellous wherever you go, honestly. But, they've been sterling. I'll never, ever forget these people. And they were saying as well, he's just such a dude. Why is he like that? How did he do that? Because they see people being ill all the time, Everybody, the doctors, all of them have been saying, how is he so laid back? And so, checking out. And I was saying to these Cancer Relief people this morning, well, he's a pilot for a start. And before he was a pilot, he was a parachutist. Big time, like hundreds of jumps. And then after being a pilot, of course, he's been the captain of the Dolphin Safari, and we've had the odd crisis on board there. And there have been many, many times through our family life when there has been a huge crisis. The old fridge caught fire on a boat of ours once, not this one, and another one. And I was like, fire! And so were the kids, and Graham was like, oh, for God's sake, and just strided across, unplugged it, and put it out. And he went, what's the fuss? Because that's what pilots are like. If you've got that type of job, you're in an aeroplane, you've run out of fuel, you're going to crash and burn. They're not the kind of people that freak out and get their knickers in a twist in a hurry. They take it all in their stride. And I guess people who jump out of aeroplanes on a frequent basis, and like I say, 500 jumps, my God, you'd never catch me jumping out of a perfectly functional aeroplane. Even if the aeroplane was actually going down, there ain't no way I could do it. I just couldn't do it. I've always been a scaredy cat and a bag of nerves, but not him. Not him, not at all. He's approached this all very, very differently. And it's really strange to think that only a couple of years ago, we were doing our sea survival course. Oh, what's that? I'm not sure if that's the Navy or not. Now, if Graham was here, he would tell me. Yes, I think it's the Navy, because they got a white ensign. Because the naval dock is that way. And also, we did the sea survival just the other side of this building 2 years ago. For those of you that remember, we got in a not paddling pool, we got in a jacuzzi back in the house in freezing cold weather in February in our wetsuits to prepare ourselves for the onslaught. Oh, even down here where it's hot, it's bloody freezing doing the sea survival. Oh, it seems like such a long time ago now. So, I'm extremely proud of him, and extremely proud of his name. Not just that it's the name Hesketh, and as one of you guys, and you know who you are, did a family history all the way back, found Sir Thomas Hesketh, who has an effigy in Westminster Abbey, and I'm really pleased that Graham got the chance to go to Westminster Abbey when we were in London and see that effigy. It's, oddly enough, I think it's the only effigy where the Sir Thomas is laying down, and he actually looks like Graham. And we laughed because I said, well, that's you, isn't it, mate? You've spent most of your life laying down, and now, of course, he's laying down. He has, over the last 3 nights, when he has been lucid, he's told me that he's been on a spaceship. Now he seemed to think it was the Starship Enterprise, and he's really into Jim Kirk and the original series. So I said, oh, you mean Captain T. Kirk or whatever? And he said, no, this one's modern. And I said, oh, you know, new generation. And then he went sort of not so clear. And then the next day I said, oh, is it Jean-Luc Picard? And he sort of looked at me like I was daft, and he said no. And he's made 3 references, the same dream, 3 nights in a row, and told me he's been on a spaceship, and he's clearly in some sort of transition at the moment. And I was saying to these cancer relief people this morning, I've read a lot about this in the last 24 hours, and apparently a lot of people have this, and they said, yes, this happens a lot. But not spaceships necessarily, but people believe they're going on a journey, or someone's coming to collect them, or they see people. And they said, yes, it's the 8th wonder of the world, because we just don't know. I know for a fact there's something else, and for us as a family, it's extremely comforting to hear him say that. But we shall see. Of all the places in the world, this is where he wanted to be. And it's a big long story how it all came about. I mean, the short story is he just went downhill, and I will spare you the details. Perhaps in the months and years to come, I'll explain. Because I'm sure you don't want to hear all of that, and I'm sure he would not thank me. He'd be saying, oh, stop grizzling, stop going on. So anyway, that's where we are, and it's the Easter weekend as well, isn't it? Oh, his mother would be thrilled. She was a very religious woman. So yeah, I've been thinking about titles, and really it brought home to me what a useless pair of planks Meghan and Harry are. What a shallow pair of twerps. And it's also really brought home to me what they did to the late monarch and Prince Philip. Oh, if you're wobbling a bit, it's the wind. I really hope you can hear me, because the wind is a bit breezy here. But it's really brought home to me, because if Graham and I had either of our children, or if we had grandchildren behaving like that at a moment like this, oh my God, that would hurt so much. It wouldn't matter if you're rich, if you're poor, where you're from. If you had that kind of crap going on while you're going through something like this, whoa, yay. They really are a pair of vacuous idiots. But the good news is, and I mean, it's probably not good news, but I personally think they deserve everything they get, is that they are not only failing spectacularly now as a result of their pure, utter self-serving, selfishness, shallowness, short-sightedness, idiocy, cretinism, is only going to get worse for them. And it will go down, down, down until they learn how to embrace life and behave like normal human beings. And with Meghan, I don't think that's ever going to happen. And actually with Harry, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Because one is too mad and the other is too stupid. It's really sad, actually. And I think that the title, The Duke and Duchess of Sausages, is far more appropriate and a lot kinder to the county of Sussex. And I shall watch with interest as she has her downfall, and I will think back on all those haughty people like Christopher Boosey, haughty, 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 wasn't he? And Omid Scobie, full of it, haughty, haughty, looking down his nose at all of us, calling us derangers and racist and haters. And so you hold that in your heart the next time one of their crazy fans is having a go at you, because Graham took a belly full of their crazy fans, and that's why I really relate to what the royal family have gone through. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate that when you're going through hard times, it's the funny thing is that these hateful, poisonous, toxic little fans that Meghan and Harry have, as I said all along, are actually the reason that they're pretty universally hated. And ain't no one gonna buy her jam. I'm not buying her jam, and I dare say you won't be buying her jam either. Anyway, I better get back in because I've just popped out for a chat with you guys and a breath of fresh air, and I'm staying with him to the end.